Slaptail Squad, assemble.
All right, I'm the Beaveman. This is the Slaptail Squad, and you are members of the Slaptail Nation Army. Thank you for being here with me tonight. It's not a sad evening. It's just an evening. It's an evening without the Ronz. Where is the Ronz, you might be asking yourself? Well, he likes to spend a lot of time
At
at
the
the
Rojo.
dojo, at the
The
Rojo.
Rojo. Yes.
The Rojo.
Yeah.
He likes to learn a new style of karate known as what I like to call, I erroneously named it earlier. It's actually COVID Te, which is the way of the COVID hand, is what he's learning. So the Ronz, my number 2, is not with me today, but with me is my beautiful Swan. Say hello, Swan.
Hello, Swan. Keeping it real.
And the ever stylish Tromondae.
Eloquent Tromondae.
The one and the only. Good evening, ladies and
Speak up,
gentlemen.
Tromondae, goddammit.
Yeah.
I'm talking loud. Is that better?
All right, talk
Yell
loud,
out.
talk
Yell
proud.
out.
On this last podcast, you all seem to think that you were fucking clever with your questions, and I will say that they were cute. Did you listen to the last podcast, Tremonde?
The one of you and the Ronz?
No, the one of us.
Of us? Yes.
Well, yes. Him and the Ronz and us.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
what'd you
thought we
think?
were clever. I thought we were
I thought that
clever.
it was pretty funny. Like I was laughing.
You thought it was cutting
as
edge?
I was literally laughing as we were like recording.
What was your favorite part?
A lot of it that I found entertaining was just kind of like watching you all's facial expressions as you were answering or responding to some of the questions. And the B-man, like your smart assness was just like so on point that day. Like I literally like could not stop laughing.
Well, I think that's a compliment, so I will take it.
We have to compliment ourselves because you bring us down enough. It's probably
That's
because
not
you're
true.
so joyous.
Is that what it is? That's what the Ron said. He said I'm very joyous. I'm a joyous person. That's the first thing that pops into people's minds when they think of the Beaveman.
Yeah. He wants to reach out and hug you. I feel like nobody would do that. Like walking down the street, do you think you would just, if you had to randomly hug someone and there was like 10 people and the Beaveman was one of them, would he be one that you reached out to hug, Tremondae?
Absolutely.
Yeah? You think he's approachable, like huggable?
I do.
Am I?
You know, I'm just gonna say this. I think Tremondae is my biggest fan, possibly in the world.
I've been rocking with you for a while.
If I could be the person that Tremondae thinks I am or foolishly fantasizes that I am, I'd be a pretty good person.
You're great.
I used to think the boy was my biggest fan, but I think it's actually Tremondae now.
I'll stand in his place.
Aww. I think.
Well, looking back though, because you've noticed for a long time, you were our boy's camp counselor, and eventually you were there when the girl was there, but not as her. You were never her counselor though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
You'd moved on doing other stuff.
Probably like
he was never really her. I mean, he had to step in a couple times, like
camp counselor, right? Weren't you?
No, I mostly did resident camp, and once I did day camp, I was the director.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then I was like, why didn't I do this all this time? I can get off every day at 5:30.
You had to.
Yeah, because I remember there was times where he'd have to like step in and watch for like a little bit, and that was it. But
that was probably enough of the baby swan. Enough.
Right. So you've known me for a long time. So thinking back and looking back to the first time you ever met me, did you think you were going to give me a hug? Did I look like a huggable person?
So I think the reason why I wouldn't have walked up and approached you in that way, because I believe like probably the first time I met you, you were like working at camp and you was like doing our health checks and things like that. So I feel like it would probably been awkward if I just walk in and just give this doctor
Like, drop your pants and cough. Hold on, let me hug you first.
Yeah.
No.
But then you kind of became like my personal doctor, and then you got up and personal, and at that point, might as
Hugs
well
are
hug.
on.
I don't know if you were supposed to hug me after some of our visits, but
Yeah,
probably
Probably
also not a huggable moment.
but you're not much of a hugger though.
Honestly, I am, but I tell people that I'm not because, and it doesn't happen to me anymore. But early on in my career as a nurse, people tried to touch me all the time, and they don't anymore, but they did all the time.
Or like at your brother's church. Definitely
No,
huggy
yeah,
people.
that's totally different. But I mean women tried to hug me a lot when I was a nurse in the trauma room, is an ER nurse. Other nurses tried to hug me, other medical assistants, patients. That doesn't happen to me anymore. So,
They were living
and
off that fantasy.
there were certain people that I would accept hugs from, but most of the time I usually just told people, don't touch, I'm not a huggable person. But I enjoy a good hug from the right people.
Nice.
I enjoy a Tromondae
not,
hug.
But not now.
Not with COVID. No hugs.
No
hugs from the
definitely
No
not
Ronz.
now.
handshakes. No high fives.
Well, I stopped shaking hands a long time ago. I stopped shaking hands years ago. And I told people, I'm like, there's no point in shaking hands. I don't do that. It spreads germs. I just sanitize my hands. I'm going to sanitize them as soon as you shake my hand. So let's just not shake. That's how it is.
Tremonde's a hugger.
That's the type of shit that I find like to be absolutely hilarious.
Well, it's just becoming practical over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tremonde's a hugger. Tremonde gives good hugs. I would accept a hug from Tremonde.
I enjoy a hug from a Tremonde. It's like
I am a hugger.
It's like being hugged by a non-vicious, tall koala bear.
He has a good grasp,
Get a good
but
hug.
not smothering.
Get a good hug.
Thank you.
And I never feel anything on my leg when he hugs me, so that's always good too.
Good.
Always a bonus. Keeping it tucked.
So last podcast, you guys asked some questions. Maybe I was a little harsh on you, but that's okay. I really
It's only
wasn't,
to make
though.
us better, right, Tremonde?
It is to make you guys better. So I'm going to give you some pep talks on this podcast because this is going to be really super important. It's going to be really important for you guys to answer very quickly and not have long pauses. Don't think about it too much. Just answer the question. Just have fun. All right?
Okay.
Long pauses.
Yes, sir.
Long pauses suck for the Beaveman because he does the editing.
Pause.
That was too long of a
If there's
pause.
a natural pause, fucking talk. And talk loud and clear.
No awkward silence. Like
that.
No awkward
at
silence.
the urinal.
Yeah.
Is this loud enough or do I need to talk louder?
You talk louder. You yell as much as you like because I'm going to modify your track because now I have separate tracks to play with. Can you guys see your waveforms?
Yeah.
I can.
Yours is the biggest.
See how big mine is?
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Not her. And not me either. The disadvantage that we have is that the Ronz isn't here, so I'm going to have to act ridiculous like the Ronz too. So I'm going to have to think of some corny things to say as well at the same time. I'm going to have to be the Beaveman and the Ronz. Here we go. So I was sitting on my thumb the other day, and no, just kidding.
Why does the Beaveman have that accent? I mean, why does the Ronz have that accent?
He doesn't. The Ronz's accent is actually, there I was sitting on my thumb the other day, and
yeah, that's better.
had my black belt wrapped around my penis.
Not too tight.
I was wearing like a sumo diaper, and I was watching a little bit of YouTube at the same time. YouTube is what I call YouPorn.
I see.
All right, so I'm going to ask you guys some questions throughout the answer portion of the podcast. Here's what I want you to do. Anywhere you think it's appropriate, I'd like you to work in one of these key phrases, and you can change the phrase any way you like, but you have to use the main word in the phrase.
Oh, do we need to write these down?
No, if you forget these, there's something wrong with you. There's only 2 of them.
I might forget them. I'm not very smart.
You're not going to forget them because these are 2 words that are super important to you.
Fuck.
How's that? That's not important to you unless that's what you're saying at people.
Right, that. Yeah.
Oh, you just meant the swearing aspect of it.
Yeah.
You meant the actual word.
Right.
Okay, so the two
Okay.
main words are butter and bacon.
Oh, those are easy. Yeah. Bacon. Delicious. Butter.
Here's
also
my example. Here's my example. It's better with butter.
And bacon.
And I'd wrap that in bacon.
Okay.
You got it?
Hey,
Get it?
Tromondae, do you like bacon?
I love bacon.
Okay. I just want to make sure because if you didn't, we were going to we would call you communist or something.
So here would be something I might say. I might say, you know what? That guy really pissed me off. So I really thought about kicking him in the ass with my cowboy boot.
Okay. That's silly.
And then you'd say it's better with butter on it.
That's dumb. That doesn't even
It was
make
just an
sense.
example, you dumb fucker.
Okay.
You don't get
I
it.
get what you're saying now.
We
How'd
just
you like
needed
it if
an
I shoved my
example.
fit up? How'd you like it if I shoved my fist up your ass?
It's better with bacon.
No, I'd wrap that fist in bacon. Okay, see, you're still
Whatever, I got it.
some sort of paraphrasing of that. You don't have to say those exact phrases. I'm just saying somehow you got to work some butter and bacon into things
Okay.
quickly.
We got this.
But you don't have to do it constantly either. I'm not keeping score. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Here's the questions for you. Tromondae, what's one physical feature that you like most about yourself? You personally, that you like most about yourself?
I like my
Bacon.
eyes.
You like your eyes.
So that they can capture people and they're very intentional.
That was my answer.
It doesn't matter. You can have the same answer.
Okay.
Just
Because
wait
you
your
have
fucking
eyes
turn.
too.
Yeah,
Wait your
you
turn.
also have eyes.
I do. I do. I have
You
two.
also have eyes. So Tremonti, then, do you accentuate your eyes in some way to make yourself more attractive?
I
Or do
do.
you do anything to make your eyes stand out? What do you do?
I smize all the time.
He smiles.
You
Is
smile.
that like a
You
smile?
smile with your eyes. It's a
Yes.
smile with his eyes.
I get it. Yeah, yeah. People can
Yeah.
do that.
You know-
I'm not really good at it.
You know what else you could do with your eyes?
What?
Wrap that
Put
shit in
butter on 'em.
bacon.
Rip that shit in bacon.
A bacon
So,
face mask.
so other than doing the smize, what else do you do to do? What else do you do to that? Is there anything else that you
I'll
do
do
other
like
than
this like
smile with your
eyebrow
eyes?
lifting. So
Yeah, so
He
I do
does
like
the
this like
Tromondae
eyebrow
face.
lifting, like the Tremondae face, and so like that's in the eye area. It's my eyebrow. So if I feel like that all works together.
Mhm.
It's an
But other
expression.
than
Have you
that,
thought about have you ever thought about using like mascara or eyeliner or anything just to
I have before. I've done it before.
have you?
Yeah.
Do you have like I don't know because I can't really tell because most people are pretty jealous of my eyelashes. So do you have like super long eyelashes?
I do not, but I'm jealous of your eyelashes. They're very like dark and they're long, like what I would love for my eyelashes to look like. And both your
As
top
I get older,
and
they
lower
fall
layer,
out.
like
Fall out.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it is all about me, even though I'm asking you guys questions about yourself.
Right, right.
The bottom
That-
line is the podcast is still always about me.
So if
Okay.
you bring that up, that was one of the features that I liked about you, is your eyes. And your stupid big eyelashes that everyone's jealous
Who are you
of.
talking to?
You!
Talking about Tremondae?
Yeah, I was attracted to Tromondae's eyelashes. No, yours, dummy. You big
You
dummy.
big dummy. Okay. All right, Swan.
They're
Same
definitely
question.
better with bacon.
What one physical feature do you like most about yourself?
Tremondae stole my answer. I think my eyes too, because they're kind of greenish and kind of brownish and kind of bluish. I mean, they're hazel, but they change colors. I think they're pretty cool. So,
Okay, and do you
basically,
accentuate that in some way to make yourself more attractive?
well, I used to until I became lazy. I like to wear mascara and eyeliner, but you know, I don't do that much anymore because it's a lot of work.
So you don't do anything at all anymore.
I mean, I try to keep my eyebrows from looking like crazy freaking caterpillars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, if when you do that stuff, how does it make you personally feel? Question
like
for both of
my
you.
better and more attractive, and like that's the feature that people look at to draw attention away from the things I don't like as much. Right?
I agree.
Same question
I
for you,
agree. Makes you
Tromondae.
feel good. Makes you feel good. And if I had colored eyes, my arrogance and conceitedness would go up a couple of notches.
Ooh, have you ever had contacts with colors?
So I used to do like the whole contact with colors, like color blend and all that.
Uh-huh.
But then after a while, I was just like, this doesn't look real. Why are you?
Did it work?
portraying-"
I mean, I don't know. With brown eyes, it's probably harder to
Yeah, so
change your
it was just
color.
like a matter of like the colors that you get, just get something that is naturally lighter. And so like I would used to do like there used to be like this like honey brown, and so it would just like heighten my colors a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't nothing drastic. But like I think
Did you do that when we
colored
knew
eyes-
you?
I don't think so at that time. I think this was
Okay.
I was doing this like around like high school days. Once I got to college, I was like, "You look dumb. Stop."
Stop that. Put it away.
Or put bacon on it.
Okay, so this is a different type of question. So that's what you guys like about yourself, or what you feel like is, pops for you. Now, Swan, what physical feature do you feel someone who meets you for the very first time finds most attractive about you, just from a purely animal standpoint? In other words, what do you think they find hot when they meet you the first time?
My butt. Tremonde's checking my butt out. I know he was. Weren't you, Tremonde?
Every chance I get. But that's funny because my butt is my favorite. Is like what I think people would look at a lot as well.
Well, I feel like you got a nice booty.
Thank you.
This is compliment Tremonde and Amethyst Day or Swan. Whoops, I did it too. Write
Okay,
that shit
so
down.
when if so you both think it's your butts. So
Yeah.
if you think
I
when
know.
somebody sees you that they don't know you, or whether they know you or they don't know you, the thing that's most stands out most of them that they find is most attractive, that makes them
You
want
said
to.
primal attractive. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah.
What is there a different type of attractive? We're not. I
Like
didn't say personality.
eyes. Like eyes is not. Hey, I want to fuck you.
I didn't say your brilliant stand-up routine.
Yeah.
Hi-yo! Okay, so then let me ask you this question then. So when you buy clothing that somebody else is going to see you in, do you buy clothing that's going to accentuate that thing that you think that people find most attractive? Tremonde.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't you? You got to make sure you look in the mirror to make sure it fits your ass good.
That's not what I asked you. That wasn't the question that I asked.
Accentuates it and makes it look good. Yeah, nobody wants jeans that make your butt look flat or with the
See,
pocket.
she doesn't understand the question I'm
farted.
asking. You're not even understanding the question I'm asking. What question am I asking, Tremonde?
So you were asking about when you purchase things, do you purchase things that insinuates that area, right?
Right. She's not saying that. She's like, no, you just make sure it looks okay. That's not what I said. What I said was, do you purchase clothing that makes that look amazing or accentuates it in some way to make other people notice it, to make it because it's super attractive? That's what I'm asking you. I'm not asking you as like, we have to make sure it fits. No, motherfucker. That's not what I'm asking.
I don't want it to make me look like I have a flat butt or like the front of your jeans look like you have a penis.
That's not what I'm asking. Tremonti, do you understand what I'm asking?
But yes, I do.
Okay, so what's
I
your
do buy
answer to
things
that question
too.
then?
So explain it to him then, Tremonti, because clearly he's going to make you feel stupid after you try.
Yes, please explain it,
No,
Tremonti.
so do I buy it so that it draws the attention of other people? Yes.
Yes.
And then you do things with clothing, like how does your shirt fit? Where is it pulling at in the right area? So because you want people to notice it, so you put some focus behind it. Hint behind
Exactly.
it. Get it?
Behind it, cha-cha, like butter. No.
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 No, wrong. No,
No?
no. So why don't you understand the question then, Swan?
I understand the question.
You didn't answer it right. You answered like, well, you just have to make sure it fits. No, that's not what I asked.
Not
I'm
fit, but
asking.
like fit makes my butt look good. Yeah. I'm not gonna go buy some booty leggings that are like up my crack that are supposed to make my butt look like those up your crack leggings. I know you guys know what I'm
Okay, so
talking
then
about.
the answer to the question for you then was no.
No, I want it to look good, but I'm not gonna like go buy some reinforced booty
That's
leggings
not
that
what I asked you. It doesn't have to be reinforced. See, you don't understand the question. Now you're going to answer the question like motherfucking Ronz. You know
why
who the
don't you get
Ronz of the
angry?
podcast is? You know who the Ronz of the podcast is when the Ronz isn't on?
Swan.
Yeah, the Swan.
Okay.
Man, you dumb motherfucker. All right. Anyway,
Anyway.
no. All you had to do was say no. I don't, because that would have been true. Because the way you answered the question goes to show that you don't make sure that the clothing you buy draws attention to that area. That's what I asked you. But you're like, oh, you have to make sure it fits. And I'm like, no. The answer to your question would have been no. I don't.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, what?
Yep. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Yes.
Almost
Whatever.
like you two are like in the same space, and there's just like a wall between you. Because like it's almost like I can hear you both in each
Yes.
space.
Kind of. We are. He's in the closet.
A wall and a blankie.
Wrapped in
All right.
bacon.
So back to that question that I
Wrapped
asked you
in
before.
bacon, like pigs in a blankie.
That you think that somebody finds most attractive about you when they first see you from a purely animal standpoint. You both said your butt. Now let me ask you this question. Does your answer change if you're naked?
No.
No, I don't think so. But still, the best feature.
So that's what you think the best feature is. Do you think that somebody else would say, if they saw you naked, they would say your best feature is your butt?
Yeah.
That's what you think they would say about you, Tremondae. Your best feature is your butt.
For certain.
For certain. He's tried this out. Tested.
Mother approved.
Mother approved. That's not good.
This is grade A. Prime.
I mean, your
cuts
mom
of
did
beef
pimp
over
you
here.
out.
True.
He's like, my son has an amazing butt. He bounce a quarter off that bitch.
All right, so I think I already know the answer to this question for the Swan, but I'm going to ask her anyway. So it's the same question for both of you. I'm going to ask Tremondae first, though. Tremondae, do you try to actively look sexy? It's a long pause, Tremondae.
Yes.
Long
At
pause.
times. Yes.
At times.
I thought there was more to your question.
He was
No, that's
waiting.
it. Do you try to actively look sexy? Like, let's say for your
Yes.
significant other. Do you try to actively look sexy for your significant other?
Yes.
Okay. And if you, second part of that question is, let's say if you go prior to the great pandemic and after the great pandemic, assuming that we get back to some semblance of normalcy, if you went out with your significant other, would you try to look sexy not only for them, for you, but so that other people could see how hot you were and so that they could be jealous of your significant other?
Yes.
Long pause. The pause was long. Okay.
No, I answered yes.
I know it was just a long pause. It was just a long pause. That's fine.
Immediately. He wants your
Okay,
immediate
and then-
answer.
And
Like
then
now?
why? Why do you do that?
Because there's a part of me that likes compliments. There's a part of me that likes the attention. Like it fuels me a little bit. Like I said, like there's this level of arrogance to Tremondae. Like I have like these double personalities. I am a Gemini. So there's like Tremondae Mandel Beck, who's like the very introvert, quiet, respectful. And then there's Tremondae Mandel. And that's where like the arrogance and the smizing and things comes out. Still respectful, but I carry like a little bit of arrogance. And so like I when I go out, I'm not looking for anyone to give me a compliment because I have already given them to myself. Whatever they give me, it's just
I'm
like
good
a cherry
enough.
on top.
I'm smart enough, and goddamn people like me. Tremondae
You know,
is
that's a pretty healthy attitude there, Tremondae. You should stay with that. That's good for your confidence. It builds confidence.
Yeah.
You know, you go out, you know, people give you a compliment, say stuff like, I'd wrap that in bacon. Like, I'd wrap that in bacon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, same question for you, Swan.
You know the answer is
You tried. This is for the audience. This isn't for me. It's for Tromondae and the audience. Do you try to actively look sexy?
sometimes, not often, not on a routine.
She goes sometimes, not often. Well,
Well,
rarely. I mean,
maybe
not under pain of death. Well, I mean, it's one thing that I already try to make sure that my pants fit.
See? Why? Yeah,
That's
don't,
obvious
I
we're
go
in
out
the
of our
right
way. Oh, on
Um,
occasion, I mean, it's fun to like.
what year is this? What year is it? I
Oh,
remember back in '09, I
yep.
did try to look sexy.
Shut up.
Something at one point in time, but I don't. Seems like yesterday, but it. And then the time before that was probably '01. Okay, so then let me ask you this question, Swan, and also Tremonde. Do you feel like that behavior is appreciated by your significant other, Tremonde?
Do I feel like it's appreciated?
Yeah. Do
Uh,
you feel like your significant other's like, you know what? My guy does his best to look good, and by gosh, I'm super proud of him. And if someone looks his way, I'm like, you know what? That's a compliment, but you know what? That's my guy right there. That's my fella.
I mean, I
And
do
you know
think
what? He's better with butter.
that's my fella. Like, I do think that he like appreciates the how to say it
The
without
effort that you put in.
it. Like I don't think he like cares so much about like the effort or the process that it may take, but I
Well, I
do
mean, to
believe
be
that
honest,
he
to be honest, you don't have to have that much. I mean, you're pretty spot on
true,
already. So you just do a little bit
very
of,
true.
tweak here and there.
Yes, a little blush here, a little blush there,
Some butter.
but
Some
he
bacon.
does
Yeah.
he does enjoy having this
I
eye
mean,
candy in his arm.
This eye candy. This large hunk of bacon. This large slab of butter, if you will. What were you going to say, Swan? Go ahead.
Tremonde is a snappy dresser and looks pretty put together on a routine basis. So how hard do you got to work for that? Like that you just roll out of bed and you look like that. I mean, I seen you stinky in a camp t-shirt and you still didn't look like garbage.
Doesn't take too much effort,
I
but
mean, he's pretty
sometimes it
low maintenance, just saying. I mean, maybe you're high maintenance, it just makes it look easy.
that's what I do.
Yeah. You spend like 3 hours primping in the mirror to look
I
like you
can.
rolled out of bed.
I can
Oh no. Oh no.
You could spend 3 hours getting ready.
easily
What do you do?
Really?
I mean,
because I mean like the process of like and like if I have a haircut, if I don't, because then if I have one, then you're like that cuts some time down. But if I don't, there's a process I got to go through to get my hair a certain way and make sure my beard is lined up. And you go through a couple outfits, you might want to choose a different look, what you want to be, who you want to look like. So
do you
yeah,
pluck your eyebrows or wax them or what do you do with them?
razor.
Razor them.
Yeah,
Mm.
I've never tried plucking. I feel like that hurts a lot.
It's
Threading
not
is best, but it's hard to do.
that
threading
hurts
works
too.
well.
I wanted to get it done, but I didn't want to
No
be
way of doing it now, unless
right.
you go get thrown in jail, in a women's jail.
I mean, maybe the men thread their eyebrows too. No,
Probably
they
not.
don't do that to each other in jail. Let's ask some fellow prisoners.
Same question for you, Swan. Then, do you feel like your partner appreciates your actively looking sexy every few years or so?
Yes. Yes.
Every
every
now
it's
and
more than
then.
every few years. Come on.
Uh-huh.
Stop. Don't you think I'm naturally beautiful? Don't answer that. I mean, don't I look pretty hot in my snuggie?
No.
No.
If you had, okay, let me phrase it a few different way. If you had oatmeal for breakfast every morning,
Mm.
and you really like oatmeal,
It's
oatmeal's
better with butter.
It's healthy. It's delicious. You know, you got a little bit of brown sugar in there, not to be confused with Tromondae. It's just brown sugar. A little bit of raisins, you know, and it's delicious. And you really like oatmeal. I really like oatmeal. But if I have it every day and it looks the same every day, and it never tries to change with maybe a splash of milk or maybe a couple of pieces of bacon with it, how into it will I actually be? Especially if the oatmeal doesn't seem to give a fuck whether or not it does anything different for my pleasure or not.
I feel this is kind of a dig at the Swan. Not gonna lie. It's kind of a dig at the Swan. But I like oatmeal. Maybe you're autistic and you like your routine to be the same every day. No.
No.
Oatmeal. I mean, pretty Rain Man. Oatmeal every day.
Uh-huh.
Same time, same place.
Okay, so well, we've determined that the Swan doesn't give a fuck about anybody but herself and her own personal level of comfort, whereas the Tromondae is interested in looking good for himself and for everyone else around him and making everybody else feel good by his good vibrations and his intense love of butter and bacon.
Excellent.
Guess I'm gonna move on to a different question then. This one should be funny. Swan, what's your favorite branch of the armed forces?
I don't have a favorite branch, but I'm gonna have to go Army because I am married to one.
You're married to an army.
Yes, to someone who was in the Army. So I have to root for the Army.
So that's your excuse for what your favorite branch is. Why is that? That's
No, because
that's your answer.
no. If I had to pick, that's what I would pick because if I think of like the armed forces, Army comes to my head first.
Uh-huh.
Like
Okay.
I don't know. And those were the ones that beat on my door for like 4 years when I was in high school as well. So nobody else approached me. I think the
Beat on your
Marines were
door
at
because they were impressed by your sensible jeans you were wearing.
Yes, definitely. No, they wanted me to play in
This
their
kid's
band.
got it. She's wearing comfy jeans, by God. She's
Comfy
not trying to
jeans,
impress anyone.
and she plays the oboe. And they wanted her to play in the band.
She's not
Yeah.
trying to look good for anyone. So she's going to
Nope.
look pretty good in this ponytail and battle fatigues.
See?
There's not anybody who's going to be distracted by this kid.
See? Exactly.
They're all going to be able to do their job. No one is going to sacrifice themselves to save this one. They're going to do
She'll
their
fit
job
in just
instead.
like the guys. Yes.
Look at
Like
Joe.
one of the guys.
He's dying over there. You didn't mute your mic, did you? I'd love to
did.
hear your laughter.
We like his laugh. It's
Like,
funny.
like I get to the point to where you're laughing, but no sound can come out. Like I'm at that point of
At least you can breathe.
yeah.
What
I'm
were you
glad
laughing
that
about?
I
What
have
were you laughing
that,
about there,
like,
Shimani?
just you two. I was like
What?
they need a TV show. Can you imagine like if a TV show like
No.
recorded you?
We need our own reality show.
Yes.
Oh.
I was thinking about that today about how interesting you know how people make these do live Instagram videos or live streams on Instagram?
Yeah.
I could do one and it would be the most boring thing in the planet. And people would watch it. I was thinking about it today. I was like, you know what? I should do that. Like, what did I do today? Let's see. I went and I made some coffee. And then I went into the office and did some stuff on the computer. Watched some YouTube videos on an electronic medical record I'll be working with next week. And took a shower and worked out. I'm like, that would be my life. I'm like, people would actually watch something that stupid.
Oh, I'm sure they would because
They would,
yeah.
and you
Like,
can make
name it
money
something
for it.
like My Mundane Life. This is My Mundane Life.
Probably.
So same question for you, Tremonti. What's your favorite branch of the armed forces?
I kind of like how the Swan started. I don't really have a favorite. I don't really or haven't really like looked into what each of them do, and not really much of an interest. So I honestly don't have a response.
Okay, well, now I'm going to give you both an assignment after this.
So when you listen to the song YMCA, did you pick out like the Navy guy or No.
There was only one military person in that group. You know that, right? It was
In the
just
Navy.
a guy.
I was gonna say like each of them.
There was only one
represented-
representation. One was Navy, one was the Native American, one was a construction worker, and I can't remember. And the other one was a biker. So,
Okay, well,
what other branches of service were you seeing in that group there?
no, I wasn't. That's what I'm saying. That he's
The
representing
village
the
people.
Navy.
It was not the village people. Wasn't every representative of
I
the
know.
A armed forces.
Shut up.
You shut up.
Just one.
Okay, so
So can
Tromondae
we talk
doesn't
about
have-
that again? Because if we are going based on appearance, the Navy costumes, I mean, I guess you call them uniforms, are ugly. So I'd pick the Army one because most of those guys look hotter in their uniform. Yeah. That's what I would pick.
I used to really like the Marines dress uniform, but now as years go by, I'm like, that uniform needs to change. It's not that cool anymore. It doesn't look right. I used to think it was
I
cool,
don't like
but now
the
it's got
hat.
too many. But now it's got too many contrasting colors. I used to think it was cool, but now I'm like, nah. Now I don't anymore. No offense to my Marine buddies. I don't think it looks as cool as it used to. I actually like the Army dress blues better, but then they switched them now, and they've actually brought back the colors of World War II's dress uniform, and those look pretty freaking sharp, actually. So can't wait to see those.
I can't even tell you what the Air Force ones look like. Are they blue too?
The Air Force are just walking around in suits and shit.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
they walk around in suits and 3-piece suits and order caviar and lobster everywhere they go because they don't have a hard
Tuxedos.
life. No, they actually kind of do look like suits. They're blue.
Okay.
Their uniforms are, I mean, they used to be. They were blue, and then their shirts were like light blue. It just looks like a blue suit with patches on it. All right, so moving on then, because you are part of the Slaptail Nation, this is a veteran and civilian podcast, so we do expect you guys to know something about the military. What did Tromondae? What did Ronz do in the Air Force?
Ronz carried big, long, black, heavy hoses that fueled jets and other aircrafts. He worked
Sometimes
hard.
they were hard, sometimes they were soft.
Yeah, depending
Sometimes
on the
they went
situation.
limp.
Sometimes you had to take people's clothes off just in case you had a little spillage.
Okay, so what do you think that actually means? What do you think it means that he actually did? What do you think? Like in your definition, what did he actually do?
I feel like a aircraft will come in and they would say, "Hey, can somebody come fill this jet up?
Fill up on Pump
get his
9?
little, get his little thing run out there." I would imagine like Ron's at that point was probably much skinnier, a little more fit. So like him carrying that whole
Yeah,
probably nothing.
He's in the Air Force,
He'll-
probably not. And the pilot gives
He'll
him a
get in
debit
there.
card. He like swipes it.
Get it fueled. And then I would imagine that he went home each night feeling that he had done something that helped save the world. Like his job was, I would believe that he would think that it was that critical to what he was serving.
Yeah.
I feel like he did it with a sense of pride, though. Like maybe not that he maybe.
So what Tremonti
Maybe-
just said, that if you felt like you were serving the world and you think that
Yeah.
he wasn't doing it with a sense of pride?
No, I don't think he was doing it like saying he was better than everybody else. Like he was doing it with a sense of pride that he was doing a great job. Like he wasn't trying to say he was better than everybody else. Like his job was more important than everyone else's. Because I feel like he's pretty humble in that respect, but he does feel that his job is just as important as everyone else's. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So what do you think that he did there, Swan?
I think that he was a support system. Like he was like in the category of like cook but for fueler. Like he's not a maintenance person or a
He's
mechanic
like a
on the
cook,
jet.
but for aircraft.
Yeah,
He was like the
yes,
aircraft's cook.
Yes. That's listen to me. You're not even listening. You're not even giving a chance. Like the pilot, you
Linda,
obviously you need the
Linda.
freaking pilot, and that's like the highly trained, like that's the surgeon of the, the whatever. And then you have the mechanic person that makes sure it's running good and it's safe, and then you have the refueler person. He's like the clerk, he's like the cook. He's still an important piece of it, but he's not like the main piece. But he's like, fuck you, dude, you can't run without me because you ain't got no fucking fuel. But he's not like saying I'm the shit, I'm the like pilot. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
What I find funny is that you just compared a pilot to a pilot
I
of
said surgeon as well. I said surgeon.
a multi-million-dollar high-speed aircraft, a pilot of the Air Force, one of the top pilots in the entire world. You compared them to a lowly surgeon.
Well, I mean,
Which
what
do
do you
you
want
think
me?
it's hard? Which do you think it's harder to become?
Brain surgeon and pilot are probably right in the top category. I mean, highly trained and skilled. If you fuck up someone's brain, you kill them.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think because to become a fighter jet pilot, it's harder to do that than it is to become a brain surgeon. There's
Well,
a
I mean,
major
both have to
selection.
have good eyesight and a steady hand.
There's a major selection process though. You don't get to go. You don't join the Air Force as an officer and say, I'm going to be a fighter pilot. No, there's a selection process. It's not like you just get to be one. Whereas if you become a doctor or you go to school of med school and you're like, you know what, I'm going to be a brain surgeon. If you put the time in, you can eventually become one. But it's not the same. You can't just put the time in to become a fighter pilot.
All right, I guess I can see your point.
That's like comparing an astronaut to a brain surgeon. Like, oh yeah, anybody could become an astronaut. No, no, no.
Okay, fine. How about pilot and astronaut?
Well,
They're comparable,
astronauts are
right?
pilots. Most of them are pilots. But a lot of them,
Well, so there you go. Comparable.
some of them, not all of them. Obviously, there are crew members, but yeah, I do believe two of them have to be pilots. But whatever. Anyway, I don't know these things.
I don't know. I feel like everybody that's on a freaking spaceship should be able to fly that thing. Because what the hell happens if somebody flies out into outer space and dies? You're like stuck there.
Well, hopefully in the future, I mean, flying a spacecraft would just be like driving your car. Anyway, okay, so we got
The
that question
Jetsons.
now. Here's the next question then. What did Tromondae? What did the Beaveman do in the army? Oh, long
Oh,
pause.
Tromondae.
Long
You have
pause.
clues like
Still pausing.
right behind you.
What?
Right
Darth
behind
Vader?
you. No. You're blanky.
He's not
So
what
I'm
that
trying
is.
to.
Let him
I'm
answer.
trying
Let
to
him speak, Swan, because you don't even know.
recall
I can make something up.
Dun, 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 dun,
where
dun,
you
dun, dun,
served,
dun. Bear,
because I honestly partly feel like we haven't talked too much about your experiences, or
I
yes, your
think that's
experiences.
interesting that you bring that up. But yet you know what Ronz did.
He's making a point right now that people who had important jobs in the
I didn't
military
say that.
don't brag about their
I didn't say that.
service,
I
and
didn't say that.
people who had poser, what do you call it? Pogue? Is that what you call
Pogue.
it? Pogue jobs.
Stop calling Ronz a
Brag
pogue.
about it.
He's not even here to defend himself.
Brag about it and always talk about their glory days in the military and reminisce about it. So the people who were really badasses don't talk about it, which is kind of true. Like from what I know from all of my patient experiences. Like my one today, for example, he was telling me, this one's kind of funny, all about how all these people, and he's like in his 70s and he was in the Vietnam era, all these people are approaching him to write a book about his life story. Do you know what he did in the military? He was a cook. And his claim to fame is he was stationed and cooked for JFK.
Huh.
But do you think really people want to write a book about his life story because he cooked for JFK?
Interesting.
I
He'd
don't
have
know.
to be a pretty good cook, though. So he cooked for
So.
JFK in the White House, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a big deal, though.
I mean, I guess, but is people going to hunt him down to write a story of his life story because of that?
Well, apparently
I don't
somebody
think so.
is. I mean, but yeah, whatever.
But okay.
But yeah, B man, I feel like the times in which I have heard you like speak about it is it's been in more of like uh
Making fun of the
trying to
Rons?
find the word. No, not
They
necessarily,
make it
but
real
been
rough.
more of like speaking about like things in general, or like PTSD and things that like those who are serving who are going through. So it's more so speaking about the group of people or the organization, if you will, not so much of what you have done, how you served. I don't think I've ever really heard you speak about yourself in that manner.
Yeah, I don't
Different
really
than
think
the
I do too
Ronz.
much. Who knows? Sometimes I do. I throw stuff out, but it's only stuff that would make any sense to me. So that's probably why I don't speak about it that much. You have to have speak with people that you can speak with that are of a similar brotherhood. So if you don't, then it's
Right.
even people that were in the military with you, trying to explain it to them, they don't understand. So you're like, they don't understand. So why bother? You know, just occasionally you would like your family to know something about what you did. You know. So Swan, what did the Beaveman do in the army?
The Beefman dressed up and played G.I. Joe in his cute little uniform. Yeah. No. The Beefman was in the infantry in the army. So he was the groundwork for the military, the people who see action on the front lines, and practiced all the time for that and did missions and stuff like that. And he was also a paratrooper and jumped out of airplanes to then be an infantry person on the ground.
Instead of still being in the air,
Yeah.
eventually,
If you
eventually
wanted
he
to,
did
maybe
come
come
down to the ground.
to the ground. Yes.
And eventually, he was on the ground, and at that point, he did stuff on the ground.
Then he did stuff on the ground. Yes.
Stuff on the ground.
Hmm.
That is not a horrible description, Swan.
He slept outside, not because he wanted to, because he had to.
True. Also
Mhm.
true. Very true. Yet no one has
Yep.
ever asked me to approached me about writing a book.
You
I
should.
actually, I don't know what the name of it is, and I have some friends I think that suffer from the same thing. And I should ask them if there's I should look it up and see if there's an actual term for it. But there are the United States of America has been actively involved in wars since basically really pretty much nonstop since World War One. Ever since we became a nation, we've just been fighting. But basically, from World War One on, we've always been in a war. Even less than every generation, we're at war.
Pretty sure because there's a shortage of bacon.
Is that why?
Yes.
Um, one of the longest periods of time that we were not actively in an active war was most of the time that I was in. And even if you had like a small conflict or a small skirmish somewhere, only certain units got to go. So once you transition from one unit, like the first unit I was in had a very specific mission. So you couldn't, it's not like if we had a conflict, like that's when Somalia happened and Rwanda happened and Bosnia and Herzegovina, all those things. That's when that happened. I was in a very specific unit. So we were not going to get sent. We packed our bags to go, but we weren't going to get sent because we're a very specialized unit. So then I left that one and went to a bigger unit, a global unit, a gigantic unit. But even with that one, it had so many parts to it, so many warfighter brigades that if a conflict did go, you could send one brigade and keep two in reserves in case you had to go fight somewhere else. So even if a war happened, like when we were going to invade Haiti, and most people don't even know we were going to invade Haiti, my unit got locked down, but we didn't go because it got redirected in the air. So you could have minor skirmishes, but unless you went to all out war, you wouldn't necessarily go. So my point is, my friends that went and my friends that didn't went suffer two different ways. My friends that went might have some trauma from going. My friends that didn't go, like me, even if we had no opportunity to go, it's out of our hands. We weren't, it's not like anybody said, "Hey, do you want to go?" And we said no. That's not how it was. we have a different type of trauma that we live with. And the trauma that we live with is we never went. So it's this deep rooted, I don't know,
Like you
depression
trained
or
for
angst.
all of it, but you didn't actually get to do your mission, so you don't feel like you finished the project.
Yeah, it's pretty much like living your entire life and not orgasming,
That
but
would
still
probably
dry
suck.
humping, but still dry humping for hours.
That would probably suck.
Well, if you
But
do
it
it
would
with
still be
butter,
better
then you're
with
not
butter.
dry humping.
Exactly. Better with butter. Exactly.
Better with butter. Maybe it would have happened with butter.
So why didn't you join the military, Tromondae?
He's
It
too
was never
pretty.
it was never an interest. My father served in the army, like for my first couple of early years, but my father too, like he never spoke about his experiences in the army, and both he and my uncle served, and never sit and hear them or heard them like tell stories. They didn't necessarily push or encourage us to attend.
So I don't
So
know how old your dad is, but was he drafted into the army or did he sign up to go?
he signed up to go.
Okay.
Yeah, if he was still in when Tremonti can remember him being in,
Well, I don't
most
know
likely he
because
wasn't drafted.
maybe he was in there a long time. I don't know. He said he served. He didn't say for how long.
Yeah, he went in like 84.
Maybe
Okay.
he was what?
Yeah.
In like 84.
And then I came in out 85.
So what did you say he did? Well, okay. So to this day, then Tremonti, do you not know what your dad did?
That is correct.
Maybe he was a super badass. And he just doesn't want to tell you.
Yeah, only thing that my father told us about
So-
him being in the army is that he served over in Germany, and there was a period where we lived in Kansas.
What kind of military stuff
Because
is
of
in
it.
Kansas? I don't even know.
Fort Huachuca? Is that Fort Huachuca? No, that's not Fort. That's Arkansas. Is that Arkansas? I don't know. This is how long it's been now. Kansas. What's in Kansas?
Toto, Dorothy, the Wizard of
Leonard Wood?
Oz.
Fort Leonard Wood, right?
I don't know.
Fort Leonard. Wow. Anyway, so Tremonti, don't you think it's odd that you've never asked your dad about to learn this stuff about him?
Oh, I've asked. He just doesn't necessarily care to share. And I don't believe that he experienced too much. Like I've seen pictures of him like driving a tank and things like that. But like he hasn't and doesn't give us those stories.
It's Fort Leavenworth is in Kansas. That's what it is. And there's also Fort Riley. Okay.
That sounds like where we were.
I find it strange that. So that's interesting because if your dad doesn't talk about it, you have to wonder why he doesn't talk about it. I'm guessing if your dad was at Fort Riley, maybe he was infantry also. It's possible. I can find out. You can actually
I can give
request.
you his name.
You can actually find him on. I mean, you can look up his service records online. You can request them.
Really?
Yeah, you can request your father's own stuff. Yep.
Even if they're alive, you can?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I don't know.
Just go to like military.gov. It's like mil.gov or usmil.gov or whatever. Yeah. Well, because people do that, people try to find their service records for their parents. Like my dad is asked about that too because he doesn't remember everything. He's like, I should really do this. I'm like, yeah, you should. I'm like, I can do it for you if you want me to. You can find a lot of fun stuff that they might have forgot about or whatever.
I mean, and do you think it's like because they don't want to tell you, or like your dad thinks his time in the military was fun? I mean, or he
Right.
talks about it like it was fun.
I would say he talks about his time in the military more than. I mean, I'm probably not more than. He talks about it in a different way than I do, for sure.
Yeah. Well, he talks
As if
about
he
it
can
like
relate
it
to
was.
me. He talks about it like he can relate to me. He can relate, but he can't.
Maybe he's just trying to like bond with you.
No, I'm not the favorite, so I don't think he's trying to bond with me. I'm intrigued, Tremonti. You seem like not like a nosy person, but like a thoughtful person. I'm surprised that you have not been able to pry these secrets from your father.
No, just because like from some of the things that I have heard about those who have like served in different capacities in places like military, like not wanting to like cross that line. Like if they say like this is not something they want to share, just kind of like respecting it. Um, just because like I don't necessarily want someone to like possibly relive some type of trauma that they may have experienced. I didn't necessarily know that you can look these things up and see the history, so I'm intrigued by that. But I just kind of want to just like remain respectful and like leave it alone. And there have been things that I've done to like show him that like I do know that you served and do appreciate you. Um, and I don't do it on the holidays that we're supposed to. I do it when I feel that I just want to celebrate my dad for that. So
So, what did your? How long do you think your dad was in? How long was he in the army?
he didn't serve for very long. Because I believe that we came back to Michigan in like 87, 86, 87. So he served for just a couple of years.
So he was in before you were born, and he got
Correct.
out around 86 or 87. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, look at the plus side. On the plus side, if your dad only served for a few years, he most likely didn't go to combat because we didn't go to. There was no combat that was happening from basically 73 to the early 80s. The only thing that I think happened were there were still police actions. I think maybe the Dominican Republic occurred in that time frame, but I can't think of anything else specifically. That was kind of like my period. There was like a long period of kind of stuff here and there, but nothing like major. Because we didn't invade Panama until 89. So,
Yeah, I
and
thought that
before
was like
Panama,
eight.
yeah. Yeah, and before Panama would have been Dominican Republic. And there was some sort of thing going on in Honduras at one point, but that never became a full scale thing. So I don't know. So if he was only in for a few years, then he probably didn't go to combat. But it'd be
Do you know?
interesting to.
I mean, do you feel like your family's super close and that's like the only thing you don't know about them, or is there lots of things that you don't know?
From my father, that's probably like the only thing that he doesn't speak too much about. Most everything else, like pretty open.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pry at it again to see what stories he can tell.
Yeah. I just think it would be interesting because I mean, as a young kid, I did ask my dad stuff, but he usually lied because he thought he was funny.
Mm.
So,
Like, what would he say?
oh, he has a few medals. And I asked him once, I was like, "Oh, what's this medal for?" Oh, he's like, "Oh, that was for me single-handedly disarming 4 enemy aggressors armed with M1s and whatever." I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure you did." And it was like the Army Service Medal. I'm like, "That's the Army Service." I'm like, we all get that. That's
So he just
yeah,
made
like a
stuff
good
up.
conduct medal. Yeah, he was just trying to be funny, like
He
full
has a
well
good
knowing.
conduct
Yeah,
because he
full well knowing what he
volunteered
did.
to drive the food truck that day.
No, you get a good if you don't get in trouble, you get a good conduct medal every 3 years. So, and it's nice, it's nice to have. If you don't get one, everybody's like, "Oh, you're a shitbag. You didn't get your good conduct medal." So, whatever. Okay, so kind of along those same lines, do you guys believe that everyone that joins the military is inherently a good person?
Not at all.
No.
Nope.
Oh, good. Okay, you guys aren't ignorant. That's good. You're not ignorant people. All right. So, if you would have decided to join the military, what branch would you have joined and why?
Who's this for?
Either one.
Tremondaes or
Either one of you.
Tremondae? Go
If I
Like,
was to
I'm not even
join, I
sure
would
what the branches of military are.
right. And so I probably would have like just like followed in my father's steps and would have just went with the army just because like that's what my dad did. So I feel like that's what I am supposed to do if I was to. But I didn't follow any of my father's ways, if you will, career and none of that. So
So Army.
army.
What about you, Swan?
So I have two answers. I guess,
I
the
asked for
Army,
one answer.
well, I want to give two. So the Army was the one who hounded me and wanted me
Yes,
the most.
because they
So,
assumed that no one
yes,
would be distracted by your very mild
correct,
and bland looks and your lack of
correct.
personality because you play the oboe. And no one was
Correct.
going to sacrifice their platoon to save you should the shit hit the fan. Yes, we know.
Yep. So I would have picked probably
Not
the
a
Army
platoon.
because that's the one that I knew the most about. And like when you think of military, that's what I think of. But I had a friend that was trying out, and when I was a swimmer, was training to be a Navy SEAL. So I thought that was intriguing too. But back then, there were no girl Navy SEAls or female Navy SEAls. That not that I knew
No, but
about
there were
anyway.
underwater demolition expert. There under was deep sea demolition or underwater demolition that women did.
So well, I didn't know all of that stuff but I think that would have been kind of cool because I like swimming. But I don't think I would have been I wouldn't want to been stuck on a submarine or anything like that. So I don't know. Probably the Army, but the Navy kind of would have been intriguing because of that aspect, like the Navy SEAL part.
Yeah, well, you couldn't have been a SEAL, so no.
I'm just saying, maybe I could have been if since I'm so ugly, I could fit in as a guy.
Yep. They just started having SEALs. I think they finally got female SEAls.
Do they? I don't know, but
They got female Rangers and they got female Special Forces. I think they do have female. I think they finally do have female SEAls. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure, but probably do. Just took a while. A
yeah,
long while.
yeah.
Okay, so what would you have wanted your job to be? And you can make it
Cooking
up.
with
I don't care.
butter.
Yeah, it's always
With
been
butter, extra butter.
Yeah. What would you
Say the
want your
question
job to
again.
be? You what would you want your job to be? You can make it up. You don't since you guys neither one of you seems to know anything about the military. And it can't be play the oboe in the army band.
Why not? I mean, that wouldn't be my main job because you still have to have a real job. I mean,
No, that is your
that's
job.
all they do.
That is their
They
job.
just
No, that's their job. Unless you play for a post band where it's a hobby. If they actually hire you, if you're actually an army band, that's what you do.
so I think I would want to be a doctor.
And I would want to probably be like a counselor of some sort, psychologist.
So you both be pogues. Okay, good to know. So neither one of you would want to be some sort of war fighter at all. Great, good to know. Neither one of you wants to be a door kicker. Great, okay.
I mean, I would do that, but I think it would be more fun to be like a surgeon or something because they get to try out cool shit on their patients. I mean, that's really shitty that you have to take a blown up person and try shit out on them, but at least you can save them.
Well, a lot of medical advances do come from war.
Yeah, I was reading this book about it and like they tried it out and like cuz they had to this really and it's done now like liver bypass procedure so people wouldn't bleed out because of trauma and I don't know if they still use it but they were using it for years in major hospitals for to divert the blood flow from liver. So I mean that is kind of cool I mean it's really shitty that hundreds of people had to die of massive blood loss to be able to figure that out, but
True. Okay, let's see. If you could rid yourself of one personal hygiene practice because it would magically maintain itself, what would it be, Tromondae?
Ooh, probably like having good breath.
Stramati doesn't want to ever have to brush his
So
teeth
no
or floss.
oral
Breath,
hygiene
like
whatsoever.
good teeth.
No oral hygiene ever for the rest of your life.
Correct.
It's pretty reasonable. Why'd you pick that one?
Cause it's just like sucks when like your breath is starting to stink, and it's easy to like slap on some deodorant, but you can't like pull out toothpaste and toothbrush any and everywhere and brush your teeth. So if I could just take care of that, I'll be happy.
But you know what you could do?
What? Put some
Just
butter
eat some
on it?
bacon.
Oh, yeah.
You just eat some bacon cooked in butter.
Yeah, and then your breath would smell like bacon and everything would be great.
Yeah, I think
Everything's
that
better.
really, if women smelled like bacon, like you take an ugly woman, you put a little bit of bacon grease behind her ear, that's going to drive any man kind of crazy. Any real man.
Everything's better with bacon.
Things better with bacon. How about you then, Swan?
Well, I guess I would eliminate having to go to the bathroom. Because that's a lot of wasted time.
So you just be a bloated pile of shit?
You said it would take care of itself. So, I just wouldn't. I mean, that would be convenient. It really sucks when when you're driving on a long car trip and you have to stop to go to the bathroom, or like you're doing the middle of something and you're like, oh crap, I gotta shit like right now. Like that's a bad sensation. So if you could eliminate that, yeah. And it saves on toilet paper, which is super expensive for the amount of that I use a roll a day.
Yeah, but what about the joy that one gets from having a really particularly good total bowel evacuation? You wouldn't have that pleasure anymore. You wouldn't have that happiness and that satisfaction.
But would I know about it if I didn't have to do it? Or you're taking it away after I've already had that satisfying shit?
Yeah, I've already taken. That's what it's magically taking it away.
I think I'd be okay without it. I mean, I could replace it with some other
Some
activities that give me
sensible
just
jeans,
some sensible mom jeans.
a giant
Yeah.
hoodie,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
uh,
for sure.
some
Maybe a snuggie.
and some total lack of personal care.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If I didn't have to go to the bathroom, maybe I'd have more time for that. Hotting it up.
Yeah, it
Instead
doesn't
of
take long. It honestly doesn't take long. It just takes effort. All right,
Hotting it up.
here's my last question. And answer honestly and answer quickly. Swan, if someone wrongs you and really pisses you off, what do you do?
get revenge.
Really?
Subtly and
Do you really?
yes.
How's that? Give an example then.
I mean, I would do it smart
Oh,
enough to where they
here it
don't.
is. I know what she's gonna do, Tromondae. She's not gonna have sex with me. Oh, big
Yeah,
surprise. She doesn't anyway. It doesn't
exactly.
matter. She doesn't anyway.
Yep. Hilarious.
No, please continue.
No, I mean,
Said you
I
get
feel
revenge?
like
How? What do you mean?
in my own twisted kind of way. It's not like malicious in revenge. I mean, sometimes maybe, but you have to outsmart them and let them know that subtly that you've outsmarted them. So my plan is big and long sometimes for my revenge.
Uh-huh.
Say that, Tremonde. That's what she said. No, he's holding it in. Holding it in.
I don't believe that's actually true. What have you done to take revenge on anybody?
You'd like to know, wouldn't you?
Actually, yes, that is actually what question that was what the question was. I said give
I
an
like
example.
to
What have you
feel
done?
like people when people do wrong to you, you just have to do better so that you can show them up subtly. So I just make myself look better than them without doing it maliciously,
Uh-huh.
but kind of. It's like to brag without bragging.
It's like I got mind control over Debo.
Yeah,
Tell me to shut up.
exactly.
Tell me to shut up. I do it.
Mm-hmm.
But when he
Yep.
leaves, I talk again.
Yeah, basically.
Uh-huh.
No, I like to outsmart them and not and make them feel stupid without them knowing that they're doing it. Because some of the people that wrongdo you think they're fucking way smarter than you, but really they're just a dumb shitbag, and you can run circles around them without even trying to, and they don't know you're making them look bad, but you are.
Okay, well, what would you want to do? If you could do whatever you wanted to do, if somebody wronged you, what would you do?
Punch him in the mouth.
Okay. All right. Now let's ask the saintly Tremondae. If someone wrongs you, what do you do?
So I am not much of a fighter. So to go after them in any type of way is not my approach. However, I tend to think that people think because of how I come off as far as being nice, if you will, that they may not think that I like recognize the things that they're doing. And so then in those instances, I become smarter and not allow them to put me in that situation again. And then that's when they will learn their lesson of you cannot cross me. So I'm not going to necessarily fight you or do anything intentionally to you. I believe that some things would just present themselves again, and you're going to have to like now face what you put out there, if you will. Like what you gave out is coming back to you.
And what would you want to do if you could do whatever you wanted to do?
I wish that I was the
What would you do if you
like
had
had
free reign to do whatever you want to do?
Tromondae Manuel. Not
like
Tromondae Manuel Beck. You want the
Mandel.
real
if
Tremont.
It's Mandel, not
Mandel,
Manuel.
sorry.
What is he, Latin?
Manuel.
Yes, I want him to be Latin today.
Manuel.
Ramon de
So
Manuel.
I wish I had the boss to like say what I want to say, when I want to say it, how I want to say it, and not gave two you know what's about how they took it. Like, you go deal with that and cry about it to yourself. Don't cry about it to me. Like, I wish I had that type of like blood running through my veins sometime.
So have you ever told somebody to go fuck themselves?
No. And part of that too
But
is
you want
like after being in like certain relationships and things like I never want to like have to go back and apologize to people for anything. I don't like saying the words like I'm sorry just because of previous things that happened, you know? So the less that I have to go back and say I'm sorry for, the better for me.
You just hope karma gets them.
Yes.
So Tremonde's devious in his own little way. I like it.
Yes.
Oh, I still wait for karma and it never happens. I've decided that I was completely I've decided that in all my past lives, apparently I was worse than Hitler, and that's why everything goes wrong for me. Karma has caught up to my past, to the future lives from my past lives, apparently. Anyway, I know I personally, I walk around most days now just wishing somebody would piss me off and agree to engage in getting their asses kicked. It just doesn't happen because I'm just so full of frustration. I'm like, oh, please, I would love to just pound the fuck out of somebody. But you'll find that most people actually, no matter what shit they talk, are not that interested in getting into an actual fight.
No, I don't. I think people are just big giant bullies. Most people are like the ones you have to work really hard to find yourself a fight because you can talk shit to people or back to people who do talk shit and they won't do anything. They'll back down.
Yeah, it is disappointing. It is disappointing because at this point, I just really want to hand somebody their teeth. Anyway. All right. Well, that was all my questions. You guys did a fairly decent job of answering quickly. And when you didn't answer quickly, I just hummed and all that other stuff. So nice job. Nice job.
Gracias.
So now that the questions are all over, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask of me really quickly based on the questions that you received earlier?
What do you think that people think is your most important feature or most attractive primal feature?
By looking at me?
Yep.
I got nothing. Fully clothed? Nothing. What would they find most attractive by looking at me?
Naked?
Oh, naked. That's an easy one. Looking at me, I don't know what the answer to that one would be.
Okay, so naked then.
I would say my legs. Because for me, every day's leg day.
Yes,
I got pretty buff legs.
You do. They're
Depending on
proportionate.
what group of people that you ask, they may say, I don't necessarily know how much body hair you grow, but you seem to grow hair rather quickly. So if you have like a hairy body, there will be probably a group of people that would find you to be like an otter, which is pretty
An
sex
otter?
defeating.
What's an otter? What's it? Explain to us, the Tremondae. What's an otter?
So an otter is a gentleman who is hairy but on the fit side. Guys who are
I'm hairy, but on the fat side.
On the heavier side, they're called bears. So
Oh, now I've heard that one. I've heard of the bear one.
Yeah.
Now, what is it that your friend likes, Swan? Was he say he likes doughboys or something? What
Doughboys. Yeah, doughboys. Like guys with man boobs. Basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like chubby, kind of chubby, like with man boobs. Manly but feminine, I guess, in a way. So, not really feminine, but manly. I don't
This
know.
definition is just going way out there. It's like it started with one that's like understanding, and now she's like left-handed, but not necessarily right-handed. Second
Well groomed.
Second
I'll
toe
agree.
shorter than the first toe. No one with a longer second toe.
Yeah, that's creepy. Even though that's the dominant trait. Tromondae, second toe, longer than the big toe or shorter?
Shorter.
All right, go. That's 3 for 3 on this
I
side
will
here.
actually not like a girl if her second toe is longer. Even if she's straight up hot, I'll be like, oh, that ruined it. You got to have some bones removed from that second toe.
Do you want to know who just had that done? And I'm not even kidding. Like, I can show you pictures on their Facebook. A mutual friend of ours had their second toe shortened
Oh,
for
really?
cosmetic reasons.
Well, there's no other. I mean, there's very really other rare reasons, unless you got like a hammer toe, and even then they just pin it. They don't remove the bone.
They remove the bone when they pin it. That's what they do. That's how they shorten it. They take out a chunk of the middle bone.
Huh? Really? I thought they just
Um,
pinned it. Well, it goes to show that I don't know anything. Goes to show I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I would have to ask. We would have to ask the Swan to answer that question, Tremonde, because I don't know. I don't think anything looks good on me, so I don't know.
I think your legs look good. I think
No, I didn't
your
say naked. The question was, you guys were asking, what would somebody, if they just met me, what would be the most attractive thing from a purely animal standpoint? What would they find hot?
I think it's your eyes and your real smile. It's your eyes and your real smile. Like the happy smile, not like the forced one. Like so if you're looking at just straight front on.
Not from the side. You're like not from the side because you can't. That way you don't see my egg-shaped head.
Because your egg-shaped head. No. But eyes and real smile. And then if you take you naked, you used to have really good pec muscles. So that was pretty hot too.
Used
Well,
to.
I mean, you're getting them back. They're back. They're coming back. But you used to have that back in the day.
All right. Well, thanks for that then. It's always about me somehow.
Uh-huh. Did you want to tell us what you did in the army? I mean, you did just dress up in little GI Joe uniform and prance around in the woods. If you want to defend that, go ahead.
No, when you knew me, I was an instructor in the National Guard, so I still wasn't doing what I used to do. It was just different. I was teaching people how to use mortars, which are just, you can think of a giant tube with a little missile that you drop down and then it fires and blows up shit downrange. That's what I was teaching people to do. So that's not what I did in the army.
So, did you want to tell us about that, or you
Nah,
want to keep
that's
it a
for another
secret?
time. That's for another time. One of these days, we'll have to tell some funny stories. We'll see. I'll see if Ronz actually has any funny stories. Probably doesn't, but we'll see.
He might.
He might. All right. Well, that's it for me, the Beaveman, thanking the Swan and Tremondae for this wonderful podcast of their clever, quick answers. So super proud of them. Nice job. Nice.
We tried. We tried.
Yes. And
You're welcome.
yeah. Adios, mooch fuckos.
Bye from the Swan.
You don't have to say that. You just
I know. I just do it to piss you off.
And in honor of Ron, a